Our second scripture lesson is from Mark 11, verses 1 to 11. Listen now for the word of the Lord. When they were approaching Jerusalem at Bethpage and Bethany near the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent two of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' just say this, 'The Lord needs it,' and will send it back here immediately." They went away and found a colt tied near a door outside in the street. As they were untying it, some of the bystanders said to them, "What are you doing, untying the colt?" They said to them what Jesus had said, and they allowed them to take it. Then they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks on it, and he sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, and others spread leafy branches that they had cut in the fields. Then those who went ahead and those who followed were shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our ancestor David. Hosanna in the highest." Then he entered Jerusalem and went into the temple. And when he had looked around at everything, as it was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. We've spent the season of Lent looking at Jesus as the fully human one. And nowhere is there greater contrast between real humanity and our diminished humanity than in Holy Week, which begins today with Palm Sunday. We started our Lenten journey talking about how to be fully human in God is to participate in God's history of deliverance. To be human is to act in ways that free or deliver people from violence, from hate, from selfishness, from oppression, and toward lives of wholeness and peace. When Jesus comes into Jerusalem, the people cry out to him, "Save us." That's what Hosanna means. So it sounds like we're on the right track as we get started. But diminished humanity is revealed as we see our concept of glory threatened. The people cry out for one who is like David, the glorious past when Israel was secure and powerful and safe. They remember when they were proud of their king and proud of themselves. Glorious David. But we see that for Jesus, glory is humiliating. He will mount a cross, not a throne. His crown will be made of thorns, his title a mockery, and his royal clothes gambled away. Jesus exposes how inhuman we are as long as we are seeking glory for ourselves. And so then follows the freedom that we spoke about a few weeks ago. The crowd desires freedom from Roman occupation, freedom to act in their own autonomy. Jesus comes bringing a freedom that takes place in an encounter with another person, a freedom that has actually bound my identity to the identity of someone else. The branches, too, they signify the hope of the nation, seeking a sovereign one to rule them with righteousness. Palm branches were a sign of national independence for Israel. It was a political act to incite action against Rome. Yet Jesus comes as the human one who will not be sovereign over, but only sovereign with others, serving them so that they can see eye to eye in honest interaction. Jesus refuses to be conscripted into any other story than humanity in God. He will not serve inhuman purposes, but reveals how much we are incapable of restoring our own humanity. And that can sound pretty good in theory. This humanity in Jesus, a being in encounter with others who frees us from our own glory and enables us to live in power with others for the sake of serving the world. That sounds like something we want to get on board with. But when that vision moves from the theoretical into the actual way we structure our lives, we recoil. As long as this human picture preserves my educational status or the privileged position I have with the company, then we're okay. As long as this understanding of humanity doesn't affect how I spend my money or what I buy for myself, as long as this humanity doesn't disrupt my Google Calendar and how I structure my hours and days and weeks, as long as this humanity maintains the ability for me to show favoritism to my own family and closest friends first, then it's all right. As long as this humanity aligns with my political ideology, then we're going to be okay. But that's the problem, though. Jesus exposes our inhumanity, and he exposes the idols that we bow to of status, wealth, family, politics, leisure, time. He reveals how much we are sellouts, settling for lesser lives, for momentary pleasures and hits of dopamine on the brain. We don't want deliverance. Not really. We want domination. We want that feeling of victory, of glory. We dread humiliation. We want to be free to do what I want, when I want, with what I want. We seek security that will maintain order and hold my position of honor and power. And we're willing to serve, only as long as I can see what's in it for me and mine. And Jesus won't give that. So you've heard what happens. The shouts of Hosanna today turn to cries of crucify, because there is one. Oh, friends, there is one who will give us all we've ever wanted. There is one whose way brings security, affirmation, and pleasure. He takes the form of a serpent, a tempter, an accuser. He declares that he holds the power of all the kingdoms of the world, a dragon with fire in his throat. We've seen his tempting power from generation to generation, in famine and plague, in the marching army who leaves women widows and children as orphans. When bodies are mutilated and abused, he's the unseen captain charting the slave ship, taking people from home to unknown lands, arranging genocides to take over the property or to purify the race. He delights as the earth is raped of her resources and the air choking out life. He loves new technologies that distract and feed our need and our lack and our want. He dances on the battlefields and feeds on the fear that drives our violence. He laughs as yet another active shooter drill is held at a preschool and thousands of dollars spent for bulletproof glass and new locking mechanisms. He feeds with the bottle and the joint and the needle, and he diminishes people to the status of animal so that we can ignore and decry and belittle. And he loves to draft other people and leaders into his service, feeding us with rage and contempt and lust, always promising that the next thing is going to be the best thing. And that power and that promise, it's enacted before our very eyes. The great symbol of Roman power to keep everyone in line, reserved for the worst of criminals. But of course, Rome is just the player of the moment, the current fire in the dragon's throat. Jesus is nailed to a cross, not just to kill him for crimes of blasphemy and sedition, but to shame him, to humiliate him, and to threaten anyone who would say that they find their humanity in his. Put between two thieves to suffocate to death in the scorching heat as the buzzards circle overhead, sweat dried to his skin, mouth parched. To be able to do that to a person, that's power, that's order, that's security, that's glory. Not just to conquer, but to shame the conquered, to dehumanize them. But on that Friday, 3 o'clock, the world goes dark, the cry goes up, and death descends. And it is a Roman soldier standing there in the glory of the empire who surprises himself as he stammers out, "Surely this man was the Son of God. Surely the way we are living is not the best way, the good way, the whole way. Surely harm and control of others is not how we prosper. Surely violence will never eliminate the practice of violence. Surely. And so for those who find themselves saying the same thing, surely this man, our humanity is inverted, and the one who suffers and cries becomes the one who patterns our life. His humanity exposes our inhumanity, and his lack of power displays his true power. He redefines our life by showing what is actually worth our life, our hope, our desire. It delivers us from our own glory. It frees us to encounter the other in power with them, and all for the sake of serving this world. It abandons all the false promises of the dragon, and it casts him into the sea. Question for us on this Palm Sunday, then, is: are you man enough? Are you woman enough? Are you human enough to abandon your inhumanity and cry out, "Surely